it has been a little while, but I thought it was time for us to do a little react. We do a little react. It's called We Do a Little React, okay, to Rantsona. And this one here has been around for a while, just a robot. But I've never reacted to one of the videos before. Yeah, they've been around for a while, but they've released a video that I think I could get into and enjoy and, cover. So it's this video here. So it's just a robot, like a robot Rantsona, okay? It is how not to get cancelled and apology videos. So, I mean, to be honest with you, based on the video title, maybe I'll have some agreement with this guy. Maybe there'll be some points of agreement because, this is something I've got some knowledge about, obviously. Yeah. So let's see what the advice is and take it from there.
Most people fear the end of their existence. It can come out of nowhere. One minute you have all the time in the world, and the next minute, it's all gone.
It's funny how quickly things can fall apart. One day it seems like you have all the time in the world, and then the next, it's gone.
Oh, I'm not talking about life.
Hey! Oh my god, I tell you what, that feeling of the crossed arms Rantsona flying in. That's bringing back some memories. That sure is bringing back some memories. Oh my goodness.
About being an internet personality. You never know for what or when you'll be cancelled. Maybe you were live streaming and you suddenly screamed out the N-word. Maybe you lied about a drama which caused people to dig into your past about other...
Wait, who's this? Oh, I know this guy. He did the video that I watched about... Chris Hansen.
Other dramas you have talked about. Maybe you're completely innocent and the allegations against you are false. But too many people are against you and they won't listen. Or maybe you don't have the evidence to prove your innocence. Maybe you were associated with someone who did a lot of bad stuff.
I mean, what? Okay. So with PewDiePie, for example, I can't litigate all of these. But the PewDiePie one I know quite well, right? So obviously people use cancel as shorthand, right? John Swan. Isn't John Swan still making content? I thought John Swan's still making content, no? Or has he done? Is he finito? Anyway, the point I was just about to make is that, look, I know people use cancel for shorthand for, pretty much anything now. But I don't really know if it's accurate. Like, what happened with PewDiePie? He dropped the N-bomb on the PUBG bridge. And then he got a bunch of people coming after him. I don't think that you can really claim he's been cancelled in any meaningful way. Did something bad happen that I'm not aware of? Obviously he got a bunch of stick from the mainstream media that time. I don't know whether that was directly related to that or not. But yeah. I mean, obviously he's had some criticism and some pressure and some attention from the mainstream press. But yeah. Yeah, his channel's fine. Obviously, I'm sure it was a difficult time for him. I'm not downplaying, he probably got... listen, here's my take, right? Look. Heated gamer moments, okay, as they're called, right? Yeah, sure. I think if you should avoid don't do a heated gamer moment, Fivehead, okay? However, I think that, you've got to consider, right, someone says the N-word when they're playing a video game on a public stream. What should the actual consequences for that be? Because the thing is, right, here's the thing, okay? If you break the law, if you break a rule of society, okay, that we've decided is so bad that it needs to be literally illegal, all right? There is a guideline for what punishment is deserving for the crime you've committed, okay? So obviously, if you murder someone, that's going to be a long time or life. If you do a burglary, that's 5 years. I don't know what the exact things are, right? But there's a guideline for dependent on other factors, what punishment they have. Okay. Now here's the thing: if you say the N-word on a stream, Where's the guideline for what the correct, remedial action that should be for that? Can anyone point me to it? Where's the book? Where's the book of like social internet faux pas and controversy stuff? Oh, okay. Let me look up. Okay, A B C D E L M N N. Okay, right. N-word usage. Okay, subsection whilst streaming. Okay, subsection B on the PUBG bridge. Use of the N-word results. Like there isn't like a guideline for that. And this is the biggest problem that I've got with this kind of culture where, people talk about accountability. How can you be accountable to like a mob of people online that are angry at you? Like, what does that even mean? Do you know what I mean? You've got like thousands of people saying you use the N-word and that's bad. Obviously, it's bad, right? Like, I'm not defending the use of the N-word. I'm just saying, how do we determine the correct action to take? And that's my big difficulty with all of this, It's we call for accountability, but who decides what that is and what that looks like? You could say, oh, it's the people that are harmed by the use of the word. Well, that could be a lot of people. Like, there's often a direct knowledge that you've hurt someone through doing something wrong in society. You've burgled from them. You've taken away something that they've earned, or you've taken someone's life, or you've assaulted someone, right? There's a very clear, you've hurt this person and maybe even hurt their family, depending on the circumstances, right? But someone just saying the N-word on a stream, how do you account for like the harm that you've caused there? How does that even work? What, is every black person? Because some black people don't care. Some black people just don't care about that kind of thing, right? And some do, and they care to varying degrees. Some really care about it. Others are like, oh, that's a bit, But others really don't like it. And how do you quantify that? How do you go out there? Do you do a survey? Like, do you know what I mean? And people don't think about this in the moment, though. They just get this bloodlust, and it's like, oh, we've got to get them. We've got to give them some consequences. So, yeah, it is difficult, and it is a complicated situation. And, yeah, that's my big issue with all of this. But that being said, whilst PewDiePie did clearly have some consequences meted out for this, I don't think it was like a meaningful cancellation in a significant way, Anyway, there we go. There's a hot take for you.
Did you do something that most people didn't have a problem with until later? Maybe you had a series where you reviewed video games, and the lowest ranking for a video game you could give was the ranking retarded. But now people are talking a lot more about mental health and saying the word retarded is as frowned upon as the N-word. You never know how society is going to change.
That is
but the point is, a lot of people are angry at you.
We see that all the time, where people kind of dig up old social media posts. And like, look, sometimes it's clear cut, right? And I think it's bad to dig up like people's 10-year-old social media posts broadly. I'm not really down with that personally. I think it's a bit cringe. But if someone said the N-word in 2010, okay, the social kind of idea around it was more or less the same as what it is today. Probably a bit worse now. But broadly speaking, okay, it's it was about the same back then. But there are words now which are considered like massive faux pas to use, more so than they were back then. So you do sometimes have this issue where people are judging speech from 10 years ago by the kind of politically correct social standards of today. So yeah, and I think it's okay to point it out and go, oh yeah, well, that probably wasn't good to say that. But like, you can't really judge what someone said 10 years ago by today's standards, if that makes sense. I don't think. You can't judge them for that. You can criticize it. It's like when people go back 20 years and they find these programs that had like problematic things in. And you're just like, yeah, it was 20 years ago. Like, what do you mean? Sure, it was, yeah. And looking back now, we go, oh, that was too much. A bit too spicy. Or just a bit unneedlessly cruel or whatever. But like back then, it was just the norm. Like, it wasn't seen as such a big deal. What's funny about Carl Kalinske is like his tweets are just a joke to everyone. Like, I've never met anyone that's like particularly annoyed or frustrated with these old tweets that have got like, the bad no-no words in. Most people are just like, think it's funny. Yeah, exactly. Do you think anyone in the 90s was telling people pog is a slur? Oh, God, that discourse was just... Oh my god. Anyway, come on. Yeah, exactly. It's okay when it's Carl Kalinske. He's the only one. He's the only one that gets away with it.
Subs. People who used to collab with you on the internet are now privating the videos they did with you. Maybe they're making their own videos saying that they never knew how horrible of a person you were until now, despite all the times you helped them out when they were in a jam. I know cancellation will come for me one day. It comes for everyone. It's not a question of if it will happen to me, it's when. When I finally do get cancelled, I know there's going to be a bunch of dates under this video as to when I got cancelled. Will it happen in 2025, 2022, or maybe this year? We won't know for sure until it happens. The bigger you get, the higher the chance of you getting cancelled goes up. Most people don't give a shit if someone with only a few thousand subscribers does something. But if the same thing is done by James Charles or Shane Dawson, everyone will care. You made a video trying to defend yourself, but it got way more dislikes than likes. Maybe you're innocent, maybe you're guilty, but now it's time for the YouTuber apology.
Hey.
The first question is, should you even bother? I made a YouTube apology video myself and I lost about 250 subscribers, and a little over 10% of the video had dislikes. Believe it or not, that's a good outcome. At least it went over way better than Shane Dawson or James Charles apology videos.
Well, yeah, but I mean, you know, Shane Dawson and James Charles did stuff that was actually pretty bad. Right? Like, it wasn't, you know, I don't know what this robot guy did. Like, didn't they commit actual... I don't know the details of the case. I don't want to say. My lawyers are advising me to tread carefully, but... Look, I don't think this Just a Robot guy did stuff as bad as these guys did, you know?
Now, one thing Kneecap said that was very good is there's only two things that can get you permanently cancelled. Pee-pee around kids and yourself. So as long as you haven't done anything pedo-related, most people should accept your apology.
True.
That's why James Charles and Shane Dawson didn't go over so well.
That's actually a really good point, right? And this is something I've identified as well, right? If you look at people that are actually, like, meaningfully cancelled, okay, like, for example, Gary Glitter, yeah? Like, Gary Glitter is like null and void. He was put in prison and stuff because he did what he did. Do you know what I mean? So yeah. And I think that it is true as well that, like, because look, you know, I'm sorry, like, to reference my situation, but obviously it is, you know, worth just dropping in there that, you know, obviously the truth came out in the wash. Obviously, I talked about it on a stream. And the truth came out in the wash, and you had the full facts of, like, what actually happened, you know? And the full facts definitely exonerated me of the worst claims that were made about me by idiots online and clowns and buffoons, people that just wanted to try and mess with me. You know, but the thing is, at that point, you know, there was a question mark over, well, am I going to continue to do this? Do you know what I mean? Am I going to continue to stream? Because, you know, is this going to affect me? And the thing is, I look now, and my channel is in a better place than it was in January. So, let's say it had gone differently, and I'd gone, do you know what, it's not worth it, it's too much pressure. I'm just going to stop streaming and stop making content and disappear. You know, I wouldn't have known that this would have been the outcome. You know... But I kind of agree, Cough Inspired. I do see where you're coming from, and I've got some agreement. But I think the key point to bear in mind is how much does the person influence the outcome? And what I mean by that is, like, you know, you could do something that isn't really that egregious, but you get a bad response, and you apologise, and you have problems with it, and then you end up, like, terminating your own channel, you know? And I think that you can definitely look at the pressure that you're under and look at the people that are putting that pressure on you, and you can say, well, they had an influence too. But I just think, like, in my own circumstance, I was under a lot of pressure, but I just eventually pushed through and just kept making content, and now I'm totally fine. Do you know what I mean? So I do agree with you, but I guess the point is like, if you've done P-word stuff, okay, that's it. It's over. You know, if it's conclusively proved that you have done the P-word stuff, forget it, okay? You're not coming back from that. Yeah? But if you've done something that isn't quite as egregious, I think that you can get through it. It's difficult, but some people won't. And because of the pressure, they'll just sack it off, you know? And I'm not saying that it's all their fault per se, but I'm just highlighting that your decision is to turning the tap off on doing your content. That has a big impact. Do you know what I mean? And like, the thing is, like, I would definitely advocate analysing what you're doing and admitting when you've done stuff wrong and apologising for that. But one thing now that I'm very strong on is I will never apologise for, like, stuff that I think I'm right on, you know? And I'll be open and I'll listen to people and I'll take people's thoughts on board, you know? Like, you know, let's say I had a heated gamer moment and I did end up saying the N-word. Well, in that case, yeah, I'd probably come out and say, yeah, that was wrong of me to do. I'm sorry, da-da-da-da-da, you know? But if someone's like, oh, you did this innocuous thing, you know, this silly thing that's meaningless, and that means you're bad and blah, blah, blah. You know, the best bet in that situation is just to tell them to get lost in harsher words and just crack on, you know? Sack it off. Not suck it off, sack it off. Sack it off, as in get rid of it. Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, I had this weird. Oh my god. Okay, I can't say anymore. Look, yeah, I've got an understanding of who that person was, and let's just say, yeah, if they want to start something, I'll finish it. Do you know what I mean? Like, I can't go into more detail than that, but yeah. Oh god, it's so. Oh my god, it's so annoying. Right, there's basically right. Like, I'm not in any trouble or anything like that. I'm totally fine. Everything's cool, right? But there is, like, an underlying level of stuff that could happen. Do you know what I mean? Like, drama could flare up. And it could be interesting. But I'd rather it didn't. You know, I just want to crack on and do my thing. But, you know, I'm definitely of the position now, particularly with, like, my drama from January. If people want to come for me, I'm on it. I'm full force. I'm not mucking about with that. I'm just fully on it. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I've learnt a lot, and I think that one thing, as long as you haven't done something genuinely really, really bad or something really, really wrong, like I say, the stuff that was mentioned, or you've like really physically harmed someone or something like that. As long as you've not done that, I honestly think pushing through and, if possible, kind of going on the attack is the right thing to do. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, it's complicated, you know, because I do think if you've done something wrong, you ought to apologise and you ought to say sorry and you ought to try and, you know, show contrition. Like, I'm not saying you shouldn't, but the problem is there's people now that will come at you for the most ridiculous things, and you can't show your neck to these people because then they'll think they've got like some control over you, you know. You can't let people think they've got some degree of control over you, or otherwise they'll just walk all over you. And I've seen it in other cases before where someone's made some innocuous joke, and it was a funny joke, and yeah, it was a bit spicy, but there was nothing like super bad about it. But they get loads of pushback and they apologise. But then you're just sending the message that you can be pushed around. So I think sometimes you've got to stand your ground and go, no, I'm not apologising for that. It's a contextual thing, you know. You have to show you have appropriate amount of contrition, but not let people who have unfettered power to punish you. Yeah, exactly. That's it. I don't need to bring up the Aldous Huxley quote, do I? Like, you know what I'm talking about there.
Be around kids, I mean, if you blow out the candles on your 18th birthday cake, make sure to break up with your 17-year-old girlfriend or boyfriend the day before. Cancel bots do not care what the law says. In their eyes, you're the adult and they're a kid. So if you're being cancelled for anything even close to pedo related, best not to even bother apologizing. The only thing I can recommend is to debunk the claims about you. Now I'm gonna go over two different situations, Cosmodor and the Spoctor drama.
What is this? What is this drama that the Cosmodor and Spoctor drama? What was that? I agree to a point, but only debunk the claims if they're wrong. You know, like, be honest. Oh my god! Oh god! There was recently there was this like drama and controversy, and it was like this person on Twitter had claimed that someone sent them lewds unasked for, and they made a big deal and said, "Oh, this person sent me lewds, and I didn't ask for them, and it was sexual harassment." Da 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 da. But then the other person had receipts, and they came out and proved, despite messages being deleted and other bits and pieces, right? They proved that actually they had asked for the lewds, or had been, accepting of the lewds. They hadn't said no. They hadn't, they weren't sent completely like unrequested. And so it was like a sort of count. It was like a count. There was a cancellation attempt, and then a counter cancellation occurred. And then this person ended up like deleting their account and stuff. I used to be mutuals with them. I think they're called Max. I used to be mutuals with them on Twitter. But it's a really interesting, obviously it's one of those situations where it wasn't like, it was one of those things it was a bit much to cover it on stream. I wasn't really going to go into it on stream. But it's just an interesting case where, like, sometimes you can debunk the claim so thoroughly that the person that's trying to cancel you reverse cancel them because you prove that they've lied or whatever. Do you know what I mean? Like, imagine that. Yeah. Ha, the canceller has become the cancellee. Well, I think in this case, what it came down to is the person that made the initial claim didn't realise that the person had access to DMs that they did. And so when the person had got access to these DMs, they were able to evidence that, no, this series of events isn't true. But yeah. Do you know, it's really tragic, right? So I was chatting earlier with like another content creator, and we were having a backwards and forwards, just chatting about a whole bunch of stuff, and we've not really spoken much before. But yeah, we're having like a really good chat about stuff, and there's that sort of moment where like you want to make sure that the other person, because the thing is, like, leaking DMs is like such a big problem in this space, because if there's real malfeasance that's occurred or like something illegal, I think that in that case, sure, DMs leaking is fine, but people will leak DMs on a dime. Literally you'll fall out with someone and you'll end up leaking their DMs, and I'm just like, that's ridiculous. So you have this moment when you're speaking to a new person, and it's like, you don't want to sound like a kind of like a cop or whatever, if you know what I mean. You don't want to be like, oh, don't worry, you can trust me, because then you sound untrustworthy, right? But also, you want to get the point across of like, you can trust me, okay? Like, I'm not saying you have to tell me all your secrets, but like, don't worry, I'm not going to share this conversation with anyone. You've got to kind of, I find now I do that quite a lot with people that I'm speaking to, if I'm getting to know them or chatting to them or whatever in this space. You have that moment of, can we trust each other? Because it's such a big problem where people just leak your DMs. Yeah, Ramesses, exactly. I grew up at a time, it's like DMs are your private conversations, They're like private conversations. And I think in some cases it's appropriate to leak certain DM conversations. I know I leak every DM I get at all times forever. But yeah, and it makes it difficult as well, because like, look, sometimes you might want to like have a frank conversation with someone. You might want to talk about your thoughts about something, or lay off your frustrations about another content creator. Do you know what I mean? And I just think it's really out of order to take that and to leak it if it's like just moaning about another content creator or something like that. There's an easy solution. Don't chat about anything online you don't want the world to know. Yeah, I see where you're coming from, Katie. I guess, okay, the way I'd put it is like, imagine like you've got a friend at work, right? Or an acquaintance at work, and you're quite friendly, and you chat about things, and you sort of complain about other people in the office and da-da-da-da-da. You need that outlet. You need that ability to go and say, oh my God, I just had this stupid drama with this person. You won't believe what happened. And Da, 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 you know, and it's like you need that venting ability so you can express frustration, and you can do it in a space where you know that you're not going to be screenshotted and leaked. And the other thing as well is, yeah, you might get to know someone really well. You know, you might have a really good relationship with someone, and then they leak the DMs. Oh, hey, Roberto, how's it going? You might have a really good relationship with someone, so you sort of are open and you're talking about stuff. You know, and you don't want to, like, you know, it's difficult. It's difficult, right? You could be really good friends with someone one day, and then 2 weeks down the line, you fall out over something, and they've got all this dirt on you, basically. It's a bit scary, honestly. Because it might not even be that you said anything bad as such, right? You might not have been racist, or you might not have said anything egregious, but you've just moaned about another content creator. And then that gets leaked, and it's like, you know, you might have moaned in the moment because of something that was happening, but you sorted it out, but then the leaks bring up the drama again. Like, there's a whole bunch of stuff that can happen. We're talking about leaking DMs, and I'm just speaking out kind of against it, really. What's good, though? I'll tell you what's good, right? If you ever see someone, like, leaking DMs, and it's just innocuous stuff, right? It's just, like, nothing. Or any DMs, really. But if you see someone leaking DMs, you can make a mental note of that, and you're like, right, I know that if I ever speak to that person in DMs, I'm never going to say anything that I want to keep secret, you know? Like, never, no matter what. You got to make a mental note of that. Because they just can't, you cannot trust them. They've shown themselves to be untrustworthy. You save those convos for in real life. Yeah, sure. I guess the difficulty is, like, if you know, if you're doing online stuff, it's like you make connections online, and so that's how you communicate. But yeah, I mean, there's some circumstances where it's fine to leak DMs, but I think the problem is people think you can leak DMs for, like, any reason, but it should be very stringent reasons that you leak it, like something illegal, or, you know, something like that. I don't know, but it should be quite tight. That's not how you look. I appreciate your input. It's fine. Don't worry. It's all good. You know, I just think it's interesting how people think about this differently, because, you know, if you work in an office, you can have, like, a little moany chat with your friend. I mean, oh God, the boss is being an idiot today, isn't he? You know, or Steve down in accounts. Do you know what he did? Idiot. But you put that online and it's saved, and, you know, so why you need redacted. Redacted, is that it? I can't remember. Yeah, I'm just saying how I'm broadly against DM leaks. Redact.dev, that's it.
Commodore was 19 and he dated a 15-year-old and had plans to meet up with them.
Ooh.
To be fair, he did live in Germany at the time, where the age of consent was 14. And just because you're meeting up with someone doesn't mean you're going to have sex with them. The problem that Cosmodore faced wasn't just pee-pee around kids, it was the yourself part. As much as Cosmodore likes to say, if I was 18 and they were 17, people would have still been just as angry with me. The problem was he kept on lying about the situation, making himself look more and more guilty, and confirming to people that he knew what he was doing was wrong. On top of that, less people had a reason to trust him. If Cosmodore was honest, yeah, he would have gotten a ton of backlash, but he would have eventually been able to make a comeback. The final nail in the coffin
That's gonna be
was
tough,
when he
though.
did it a second time.
Oh,
Now, Stalker's allegations
no.
were much more harsh.
Oh dear. Look, if you do something wrong the first time round, like, don't do it a second time, okay? That's a bad idea. It's the robot. The robot's the Rantsona. Look, I'm going to be honest, okay? This dude's like some rightoid, but he's actually got some interesting insights, okay? Look, if I agree with the video, I'll agree with it. I'm not going to muck about. Obviously, there's some minor points I'm like, oh, I'm not sure about that, not sure about that. But yeah, broadly speaking, yeah.
The age of people he sent, sexual messages to were as young as 13. And he apologized for everything he did, which just made him look really guilty. Luckily for Spoctor, someone made a video defending him, and then shortly afterwards, a lot of other people, including myself, also made videos defending him.
Oh my god, yeah, Rabbit Woman, that's a really good point, okay? I've always had a fear of nude or embarrassing stuff being leaked, so I just don't send anyone anything that could be misinterpreted. It happened to my sister when we were in college, and I learned vicariously through. Yeah. Get him on for a chat. I don't know. There's a clip of him in one video where he says, I can't remember what he says, but I remember like it was bandied about the place because it was a bit spicy. Oh dear. But yeah, people have a head start on crucifying you if they can just reuse all their content from the last controversy. Why make it easy on them? Well, yeah, this is the problem, is that let's say you do something wrong, okay, and you deal with it, right? If you subsequently have another controversy, right, even though you've dealt with the first one, you've apologized or whatever you've done, that all gets relitigated again, and everyone brings it up again, and you got to go through it again. Hey, how's it going? Gringo, how you feeling today? So yeah, you end up in this situation where it's just like a mountain of stuff that people are looking to kind of have a pop at you for and talk about and da 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 da. That's good. I'm really glad to hear. Good stuff. So yeah, I think if you get through the first controversy, don't do the same thing again at least. Even if you did nothing wrong, people will use your fabrications about your past. This happens to Destiny about the P-word stuff all the time. Yeah, of course. Yeah, people will just use whatever they can. You see it online. Contra's cancellation video had some good insights in it. And one of them was talking about this essentializing, where someone does something maybe that's wrong, but it gets essentialized to like the worst possible thing you can imagine.
Why were people?
That's really good, Gringo. I'm happy for you.
I mean, 13, that's pretty damn young. Well, the thing is, he was 16 at the time, and the 13-year-old was also about to turn 14. Sending sexy messages to...
What is the Romeo and Juliet law? How does that work in America? Would that sort of thing be covered by like a Romeo and Juliet law? It's 2 years. Yeah, I don't know. It's up to the police. I was just wondering, like, yeah, that is a weird one, isn't it? Like, someone 16. Oh God, I don't know. How would you? God.
To someone when you're underage.
Like the 16-year-old isn't even old enough themselves to like. I don't think it has anything to do with online phone stuff too. Oh really?
The other person is underage.
No, not proper sleep yet.
Is only about 3 years.
It's kind of weird. It is weird. Yeah, it's weird. Don't get me wrong. It's weird, but it's like, how do you deal with it? Like one of them is the oldest is 16. Does a 16-year-old deserve to have their, name, like the kind of stuff that an older person would get? I don't think a 16-year-old should be subjected to like the online mob. Like that's ridiculous. Oh, Stranger, yeah. There was this really random scene where like. Was it Mark Wahlberg was like, hey, my daughter's like this old. And he's got like a card in his wallet. He's got a card in his wallet that explains Romeo and Juliet laws. And you're like, dude, like this is a bit weird. Like why have you got like an explanation to Romeo and Juliet laws on tap in your wallet? I'll watch it after this. We'll watch it after this because I'll probably have to cut it from the YouTube anyway. Because it's content ID. No, it wasn't. No, Mark Wahlberg is the father. He's not the one that's got the Romeo and Juliet laws. That'd be extra weird. It was Mark Wahlberg who's like in his 40s or whatever. Anyway, come on. I will not have the name of Mark Wahlberg slandered on this stream.
is way more easier to defend than someone being an adult, the other person being a minor, and the age gap being 4 years. On top of that, as far as I'm aware, Spockter didn't do it again, so that's good on his part. Another thing that will help you become more cancel-proof is what kind of content you make. If you're a really edgy YouTuber, then you have more edgy fans that are a lot more willing to forgive your actions. That being said, you'll be called out a lot more than a politically correct YouTuber. And I mean a lot more. However, if you're a politically correct YouTuber, a lot less people are going to look into your past or try to expose you for any of your wrongdoings. Call Me Carson was a pretty politically correct YouTuber, but as soon as it was found out that he dated a 17-year-old when he was a 19-year-old, all hell broke loose. Pyrocynical is a lot...
What do you think of the Carson stuff? I don't know much about it. The edit killed me. So, I think Carson was 19 and she was 17. I mean, yeah, 17 and 19 is just like normal, isn't it? As long as the age of consent is not 18, I guess. But yeah, I don't know. Call Me Carson. He's like a streamer type guy, I think. Because there was massive controversy. Like, I remember there was people going on about it online and stuff. Can't be do worse than when I was 29 and dated an 18-year-old. Yeah, some people have, yeah. The age gap discourse is... I mean, I get it, you know. I get it that, like, it might make... Some stuff might make you uncomfortable. You know, that's fine, but, like... The law should be designed to keep people with similar levels of maturity and life experience safe for each other. Yeah, I agree with that.
More of an edgy YouTuber, so when it got found out that he was 19 and sending sexual messages to a 15-year-old, a lot more people were willing to forgive him. Of course, the best example I can think of for a politically correct YouTuber being exposed for doing not very politically correct things is Creepshow Art.
Who are all these people? Creepshow Art.
In my video about Creepshow Art has a lying problem. I said if Keemstar or Turkey Tom or other edgy YouTubers were exposed for something like what she did, no one would have given a shit. Think of your friend who's a total asshole or a total bitch. When they say something that's, well, bitchy, you don't care as much, but you would care a lot more if your polite friend did it. Never forget about the expectations people have for you. Every YouTuber pretends to be a lot more PC than they really are. I hate to rip the band-aid off, but YouTubers get up to a lot of questionable stuff when the camera isn't rolling. It's almost like they're flawed people who aren't perfect and make mistakes. Creepshow Art did what she did anonymously, thinking her identity would always be private, but unfortunately for her, it wasn't. And because she built her audience around calling people racist, sexist, homophobes for a lot less than what she did,
oh no, I don't know about
like
this.
A massive hypocrite. That also goes for Mundane Matt. He was flagging people left and right, thinking that no one would find out 100% for sure that it was him. But once he came onto a live stream, people forced him to show his flagging history.
Ooh.
If he didn't show it, well, he would have looked guilty either way, so he really had no choice. The point I'm trying to get across is just because you think you're doing something anonymously, if it's on the...
Creepshow Art was going on message boards talking about her friends on Alts. How do you know this? Who are these YouTubers? I need to get into the you know. Anyway.
Internet, it's not anonymous. If you're going to try to be politically correct on the internet and call people out for, well, saying things that politically correct people disagree with, then make sure you're not a massive hypocrite. Because once people find out, they're going to give you the same charitable interpretation you gave to everybody else. Because that's what you built your audience around. Creepshow Art lost the most amount...
They're attention-seeking money grabbers. Hey, come on. That's true of me, but I mean, you don't need to say it.
of subscribers percentage-wise out of any YouTuber. Why? It's because she built her audience around bashing people for doing, well, what she does. I try not to say, wow, yikes at someone who does, well, what I do. Like when I did my video on Ostrich Fox and he apologized, I accepted it and gave him a charitable interpretation because I know I'm going to be in his shoes one day. Whenever I'm in a drama with someone and they make an apology video and they genuinely mean it, I'm a lot more willing to accept it than, well, let's be honest here, pretty much everybody else. Because I know I'm going to be in their shoes one day, and I don't make videos to end the career of someone. I make videos to call them out on their actions or to figure out what the truth is. If I call them out and they apologize, then my work is done. So why don't certain YouTubers apologize? For example, well, Creepshow Art. When Mundane Matt apologized, it was too late. Too many people were already angry.
Hang on. Are Mundane Matt and Matt Jarbo the same person? I thought Matt Jarbo is still about... Are they the same people? Right. But he's still around on Twitter. Isn't he? Isn't he like more on the left now or more like on a lib side? His channel's dead. Ah, right, okay. Tommy, no! I was thinking of talking about that, but I wasn't sure. But yeah, maybe I'll look at it. Have you got a link to it?
Angry at him. I originally thought if Creepshow Art apologized, she would have only lost 10 to 20k subs. And to be fair, she would have probably lost a lot less. As I said earlier, there's only two things that can get you cancelled: pee-pee around kids and yourself. Well, Creepshow Art didn't really do any pee-pee around kids stuff, aside from allegedly having images of someone when they were 15. The problem this time was herself. Because she lied about what was going on, she made herself look even more guilty. And now less people are going to trust her, even if she does have evidence to prove her innocence. But why wouldn't she just apologize? That's the real question. I think it was because the lolcow leak revealed enough about Creepshow Art that people could have gone to past drama.
Creepshow Art, Hopeless Peaches, Creepshow Art. This is getting sad. Threats and slander. Oh my god, these things are so funny, aren't they? Like, when you think about it. What, Ramesses, do you not think you should apologise online? I think if you've done something wrong, it's alright to apologise. But don't apologise for things you don't think you've done. Oh. Double down and pretend it never happened. Well, Devin Nash did a segment about this. And he said that, like, you remember when there was a big scandal where, like, all these Twitch streamers, there was, like, a Me Too thing for Twitch streamers. He made the point that there's some people who, like, from what he understands, did something really bad. But they just disappeared for, like, a few months. And then they came... Well, you're joking, but this is actually a thing, though. It's funny, right? Well, funny is not the right way to put it. Anyway, they've done something really bad. And then they disappear, and they come back, and they just act like nothing happened. And they just crack on, and no one said... No, everyone's like, okay, and discuss it. Yeah, Louis C.K. did that, right? What was it Louis C.K. did? Wasn't it jerking the gherkin in front of someone against their wishes? Matt Jarvis is still on Twitter and makes YouTube videos on the $3 Theatre channel. Oh, right, okay. How do you all know who Creepshow Art is? What is going on? What? I'm like perplexed. This is genuinely someone I didn't even know existed before this video. Everyone's coming in going, oh yeah, Creepshow Art. Yeah, well, I remember all that. How do you all know this? Well, fair play. You've got one over on me there, I guess.
Dramas she was involved in or started, and shown that she lied in a lot of them. I'm not going to go by all of them, but as you guys know, I am an expert when it comes to the Hopeless Peaches drama. And the fact that she was talking about Hopeless Peaches long before the drama with her started really proves that she was planning this all from the start. And that's just one out of many dramas. So she had a choice. Either lie and say this wasn't her, or apologize. If she apologized, I changed my stance, she probably would have lost several tens of thousands of subscribers. But I still don't think it would be as bad as it is now. Prismate Luke has made several promises that he would apologize, but he hasn't. And he still has the perfect opportunity to. He could just throw Creepshow under the bus, say she put him up to making the Hopeless Peaches videos. Why won't he apologize though? Well, your guess is as good as mine. So the main thing I want you all to take away from this video is that sometimes you need to apologize.
Okay.
Not everybody will accept it, but if you can get the majority to accept it, then it's a good apology. If you did anything questionable with kids, don't even bother, there's nothing you can do. That's why EDP never apologized. Speaking of apology videos and people being cancelled, I recently got more racist allegations, yay! Hopefully this is the last time I'll ever have to talk about it, but I'll talk about that on my old channel, not this channel. So if you want to know what's going on with that, check out the video that I'll link down below.
There we go. Yeah, I'm not, by the way, like, I just think it's funny, because I've got no idea. It's just always funny when, like, you know, I'm covering something, and I've got no clue what's going on, because I'm a boomer. Yeah, and then everyone comes in, oh, this drama. The Snorfy Snurf. Oh, yeah, I know all about that, yeah. The bling bling habit cancellation. Oh yeah, that one. Oh, with Jonesy McSniffle. Yeah. Oh yeah. That was a real crazy one. Anyway, so we're gonna look at this thing now. Anyway, there we go. That's my take on it all. Okay. That's all I got to say. I actually quite enjoyed that video. Made some interesting points. I think I kind of agree. Yeah, sometimes you've got to apologise if you've done something wrong. Don't apologise for things you haven't done wrong. You know, and yeah, you know, don't be afraid to kind of push back if people are taking things too far. Also, though, look, if you're going to be controversial, you're going to cause controversy, so you kind of got to take that on the chin. Anyway, that's it.